Welcome everybody. This morning I will just introduce some brief topics about vitamin C. And you can see on our front page here we have a picture of vitamin C, the second one, and we also have fructose, glucose, and dehydroascorbate. So dehydroascorbate is an oxidized form of vitamin C. The picture that says vitamin C is a reduced form of vitamin C. Vitamin C and glucose look quite different, but vitamin C is made from glucose in all animals except a few, including man. We have the enzyme, but the enzyme is damaged, so we cannot make it anymore. But vitamin C and glucose are direct competitors for uptake through transporters in the body. So I'm going to talk briefly this morning about manufacture. You can see a picture of one of the manufacturing facilities in Australia. And this is a very high standard facility. It meets FDA approval. It is one of the top manufacturing facilities in Australia for sterile injectables. So I'll talk about IVC briefly, intravenous vitamin C briefly as an example. Vitamin C also breaks down. We can see here on the left, we have reduced vitamin C or ascorbate. The intermediate product, when it donates an electron, the intermediate product is the ascorbyl radical, and then the oxidized product is dehydroascorbate, which is number 3. And dehydroascorbate is actually very unstable. It stays in the body not very long at all. It lasts about 2 minutes, and typically it is recycled into vitamin C. So a number of enzymes do this. So we go from dehydroascorbate back to ascorbate. Which one is the pointer? Sorry. Pointer? That one? So dehydroascorbate recycles back to ascorbate like this continuously in the body. If this doesn't happen, it can break down. This is ketogulonic acid. The ring breaks, and ketogulonic acid is also a very powerful reducing agent at high pH, so pH above 8, which is a pH that you find commonly in mitochondria. This is then released from the body. It also breaks down into oxalate. Oxalate is released in the urine. Okay. Let me give a very brief background of why biological therapies does GMP. Many years ago, there was a famous doctor in Australia, Archie Kalokerinis. Some of you may have heard of Archie Kalokerinis. He worked with very sick children, Aboriginal children in Central Australia. Most of Australia is a desert. It's a big country, same size as the United States. Most of it is empty of people. Aboriginal children were dying. Many children were dying. And Archie worked as a doctor in central New South Wales, a state in Australia, and found that giving injections of vitamin C saved these children's life. He would see children come in very, very sick with flu-like symptoms, and they would die. Despite hospital treatment, despite best medical treatment, these children would die. He started giving vitamin C, no more children died. Dramatic effect. So the effect was so fast that from a child almost dead to completely normal was 20 minutes. Amazing. So Archie Kalokerinis started telling people about this, and the medical authorities did not like it at all. But fellow doctors liked it, And one of the people who went to look at Archie's work was Dr. Ian's father, Glenn Detman. And Glenn went to see Archie to basically prove that this is not possible. But what he found was it is possible. And he was so impressed that he started making vitamin C. But his manufacturing standards were not the best. So this is when Dr. Ian became involved, and Dr. Ian began to make vitamin C correctly in a sterile way in a proper room. And this is about 45 years ago. And Dr. Ian became so convinced with vitamin C that he's essentially spent the rest of his life until now working on vitamin C, as did Archie, until the end of his life. So what we have now in Australia is a level of manufacturing that gets higher and higher and higher and higher. Biological therapies has got the highest grade sterile manufacturing of vitamin C in the world, and it's a standard that is even higher than required by the FDA. It's a standard called PICS, Code of Pharmaceutical Manufacturing, called PICS GMP. GMP means Good Manufacturing Practice. The FDA in the US is about to adopt the PICS standard. And so manufacturers in the United States in the next year or two will be required to meet the PICS standard of manufacture. So that's a nutshell of why biological therapies makes vitamin C to such a high standard. Of course, this procedure is very expensive. This procedure is very technical. It's extremely important that people do the right thing. And what we have at the end of the manufacture is a bottle with vitamin C on the label. That's all that's in the bottle, and it's proved. We have had some problems in Australia with contaminated products from some other manufacturers. There have been some problems in the United States with contaminated compounded products. So I'm going to briefly talk about GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice, as it applies to vitamin C. So we get an audit which comes regularly, and it's now, right now. We had 2 weeks notice, and we get audited, we get audited by the Australian government, which is the TGA, which is like the FDA. Sorry? Okay, so here's a picture of one of the clean rooms at Biological Therapies where the vitamin C is manufactured. These operators must be trained very, very carefully in how to dress to enter the clean room. They get tested regularly. If their clothing is swabbed and one bacteria is found in 6 months, they have to be completely retrained. So this is a very, very careful process. Okay, so I think I've already said this. This is the PICS code, which is the highest code.